Thank you for joining us for our Word of the Day. This morning, as we're going to continue through the Bible, we're going to look at Ezekiel chapter 43. Now, in this chapter, really starting back in chapter 40, God begins to give Ezekiel a new vision. A vision of the restored temple and the restored city of Jerusalem. And Ezekiel is taken by an angel to the new temple, and this temple is even greater than Solomon's temple was, and there's a multitude of nations and people worshiping God and praising God on the altar. And then he gets this vision of the glory of God returning to the temple. And it's the same vision of the glory of God he got in chapter 1, where he sees this vision of four wheels with angels standing on the wheels, and their wings are holding up the glory of God. It's a very odd vision. And there's a lot of debate about what this vision really means. Is this a literal vision of what's going to literally happen one day when this temple is restored? Is it just kind of a symbol, like the most of the rest of the book of Ezekiel, about God returning to his people to dwell among them? And, whether you take a literal interpretation or a figurative interpretation of what's going on, the promise is the same, that God is going to return his glory to his people one day, that one day the glory of the Lord will dwell among men, that God will make his home, make his dwelling place with his creation. That's an incredible promise that the book of Ezekiel ends on. Again, the Ezekiel's full of terrible visions, terrible things, and terrible possibilities, but God gives a promise that he's going to dwell with his people. Look what he says in verse number 6. He said to me, Son of man, this is the place of my throne, and the place of the soles of my feet, where I will dwell in the midst of the sons of Israel forever. In my holy name shall the house of Israel defile no more, and they nor their kings by their harlotry, nor by the corpses of their kings when they die. This is an incredible promise of God, that one day everything will be restored to the way it should be. That man will dwell with God in peace, that there will be no more sin, there'll be no more idolatry, there'll be no more sickness or death or pain. It's a wonderful promise that God has given to his people, that yes, we will have to suffer through life, we will have to have problems on earth, we'll have sickness and disease and sin to deal with, but one day we will dwell with God for eternity in peace and love, where there'll be no more hurt, there'll be no more pain, there'll be no more sickness, and we will enjoy intimate fellowship with God for all of eternity. Thanks so much for joining us for our Word of the Day. Be sure to be back here tomorrow as we continue through the Scriptures. Have a blessed day.